India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. Over here, all the classes are 100% live and interactive class. If you have any sort of doubt, you can ask to your teacher in the classes only, and the teacher will explain everything in the classes, right? Now, coming to the second thing, we give personalized attention to each and every students because our batches consist of maximum 6 number of students, not more than that. So it may be like one student or two student batch, or maximum 6 number of students are there. So this will help you to understand all the concepts very much clearly. There will be no hesitation. You can ask your question to the teacher anytime, and the teacher will also keep an eye on you, how you are performing in the classes, how you have already done in the homework, how you are doing in the classwork, and definitely where you were lagging. So everything will be totally tracked and you will get the feedback. Now, coming to that, we have a very good dedicated academic mentor team who continuously keep a track on you, and this will help you to get proper feedback कि कौन से टॉपिक में आप ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड हो, कौन से टॉपिक आपका प्रिपरेशन उतना अच्छा नहीं है तो प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए, and this feedback will help you to improve yourself, right? Now, coming to the most important part of Swiflearn, that we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule, and generally we will do those topics which have already done in your school, and then we will move on to the rest of the topic, and पूरा syllabus हम cover करेंगे before you are going to the school exam or the board exam. This is very much important, and generally we also handle the custom request. आप अगर request करना चाहते हो कोई extra doubt class के लिए या फिर कोई भी extra classes के लिए before your school examination and all, so we are always there to help you, right? Now, coming to the facts or the different key features why the Swiflearn is different from any other platform. First of all, we maintain a detailed progress report of each and every student. You will get the progress report जैसे आपको स्कूल से ही progress report मिलते हैं और आपका PTM होता है स्कूल में, वैसे ही इधर भी progress report मिलेगा and PTM होगा, and over there the parent can interact with us directly. Parent can share their feedback, they can ask any sort of doubt. We are always there to clear everything, right? Yes, so this is very important. Secondly, we have the SAT, that is the Swiflearn Academic Test Series, which happen in every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You will be able to perform over there, and your name and rank will be there on the leaderboard, so you will be able to understand what is your rank all over India, right? Coming to the third and the fourth most important thing, that is the practice of question answer, right? So you have already done with your chapters, lessons, revisions and everything. Now you have to practice writing question answers. So we have the unlimited practice test over here. So both subjective और objective test आपको मिल जाएंगे. अपार्ट फ्रॉम द होमवर्क तो है ही, हम तो होमवर्क देंगे ही रोज रोज, पर अपार्ट फ्रॉम होमवर्क आपको प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट भी मिलने वाले हैं विच यू विल बी एबल टू डू इट एंड सबमिट इट, एंड वी आर द ग्रुप ऑफ टीचर हु विल चेक ऑल these things. And basically for the subjective test, we will give you the tips and tricks how to write the answer, where to include the diagram or chemical equation or flowchart, whatever is needed for getting the full marks. तो subjective test में या फिर subjective question में सबसे ज़्यादा tendency होता है marks lose करने का, right? So this is very much important to write and submit the subjective answers, right, after completing each and every topic. So these are the main key features which we have in Swiflearn. So to experience all these things, what you have to do, you have to book the trial class. तो सारी के सारे trial classes free of cost है, कभी भी book कर लो आपके convenient time के लिए time में, and we are always there to do the trial class with you, and then you can enroll your name in our regular batches, right? So we will meet in all the regular batches and we will discuss about a lot of different topics in our regular batches, right? Now let's move on to the topic, and before that let me remind you, whoever has not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. So stay with us till the end of the session and learn with us, learn with Swiflearn, and do not forget to like, comment and share also. So quickly tell your friends also to come and join the session so that we can discuss mutually. We will discuss about the nervous system, which is basically there in ICSE board of class 8th syllabus. So class 8th के level पे हम आज जाएंगे nervous system पढ़ेंगे, and we have already discussed about the nervous system. The basic preliminary idea I have already given you in the previous session. That is, what is the nervous system, what is the need for the nervous system, और nervous system में main क्या क्या components रहता है. जैसे brain, spinal cord and the different nerves, these are basically the main components of the nervous system along with the sense organs. ठीक है, तो ये सारे हमने already discuss कर चुके हैं last session में. If you have missed the session, just go with the video of that session. It is available on YouTube. So over there you will find that the main structure and function of the neuron, we have already discussed about the structure and function of the neuron. So let us see what we will discuss today. तो हम आज mainly brain के बारे में पढ़ने वाले हैं. ठीक है, तो ब्रेन में क्या क्या है, व्हाट इज द मेन स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द ब्रेन, फंक्शन ऑफ द ब्रेन, क्या क्या पार्ट्स रहते हैं, दिस इज द मेन थिंग विच वी विल डिस्कस. तो कैसे नर्वस सिस्टम कोऑर्डिनेट करते हैं, दिस वी विल स्टडी. देन वी विल मूव ऑन टू द सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम. अभी ये जान लो कि हमारे नर्वस सिस्टम दो तरीके का होता है हमारे बॉडी में. एक तो सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम एंड द सेकंड वन इज द पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम. तो पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम हम आज के सेशन में नहीं पढ़ेंगे, नेक्स्ट सेशन में जाएंगे. तो आज के सेशन में we will mainly focus on the central nervous system which will consist of the brain and the spinal cord. ठीक है, तो हम देखेंगे brain, what is the brain, what is the structure of the brain, what are the different parts which are present in the brain, और वो सारे different parts of the brain का functions क्या है. And then we will move on to the spinal cord, the structure of the spinal cord, how it is guarded by the vertebral column, and we will study about the functions of the spinal cord. I hope you are all ready to study with me. Yeah? Yes. So if you have any doubt in between, please write it in the chat box. I'm always there to answer it. And also do not forget to give me the answers, as you already know that whoever will give me most of the answers correctly, he or she will be the student of the session. I'll write your name on the screen at the end of the session. ठीक है? चलो. So we have already studied about the basic structure and structural and the functional unit of the nervous system. Can you please name what is this? Yes, you can see the structural and functional unit of the nervous system on the screen. Can you please tell me what is basically this? What is the name of this structural and functional unit? अच्छा, मैं आपको ना थोड़ा सा हिंट दे रही हूँ कि स्ट्रक्चरल और फंक्शनल यूनिट क्या होता है. मान लो कि आपका रूम, आप जो रूम में हो उसका रूम का वॉल, it is made up of the four walls, right? And definitely there will be the doors and windows. तो ये wall is made up of the small block like structures which are basically the bricks. तो ये wall is made up of the bricks and the cement, which is like the bricks are arranged one by one in certain arrangement, and then it is attached with each other with the cement, and finally इसके ऊपर plaster of Paris पड़ेगा, उसके ऊपर paint लगेगा and all those things. So it is basically giving you a structure, and definitely it is also performing some function for you, right? It is giving you the shelter. Yes, the whole building is giving you the shelter. If you think about the same thing in our body, you will see the whole living organism's body is made up of cell. Yeah, so I'm not talking about only the human body. It may be a plant, any animal, any microorganisms also whose body is totally made up of the cell. And cell we will consider definitely as the structural and functional unit of the living organism. Now let us move on to the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. The structural or functional unit कौन है? This is nothing but the neuron. ठीक है, so neuron is the main structural and functional unit of the nervous system. We have already studied about the structure of neuron. It has the cell body. The cell body is having the dendrites, and these dendrites are nothing but the branch like structure. जैसे trees का branch होता है, the dendrites का branch which basically will receive the different nerve impulses from the previous neurons and all. it will basically receive the nerve impulses, and through the nerve impulse will go through the neurons in this direction. Okay, it will first received by the dendrites, then it will enter inside the cell body, then finally it will go to through the axon. This tail like structure is a axon, then this is the termination of the axon, which are known as the axon terminal, and finally there will be the synapse. Synapse ka matlab kya hai? This is the joint. Okay, we can call it as the joint in between two neurons. So when one neuron is ending and another neuron is beginning or starting, this joint is known as the synapse. Okay, so from here it will go to the next neuron. So like this, the whole nervous impulse or the neural impulse will transfer from one neuron to another, and accordingly it will carry the different messages from the different sense organs towards the brain, along with the as well as from the brain to the different muscles and glands, so that we will be able to find out all the different changes which are happening around our surrounding. Okay, so how many neurons are basically present? If you think about that, then I will definitely say that if you think about the neurons, 10 to the power 10 nerve cells or the neurons are present inside our body. Okay, so we can call it also as 100 billions of neurons are present in our body, and these are nothing but the central building block of the nervous system. It is totally making up the nervous system. So neuron kahan rehta hai? Definitely brain mein, spinal cord mein, and inside all the nerves, right? So I think this much you have already got an idea. Now the information is detected by the sensory organs. Then after the different sense organs, the sense organs kya kya hai? Eyes, nose, skin, ear and tongue. We already know that. Okay, so from there the sense organs will receive the different stimuli. Stimuli matlab kuch bhi changes jo hamare surrounding mein ho raha hai, this will be received by our sense organ and it will be directed towards our brain. First वो हो जाएंगे spinal cord में और फिर वो जाएंगे brain में, and finally after going to the brain it will be processed over there कि क्या क्या चल रहा है हमारे surrounding में, and the motor nerves will carry these impulses to the glands and the muscles, and this is how we will now come to know about whatever is happening inside or around our body. Fine. So spinal cord conducts the sensory information towards the brain, and after the processing within the brain it will again take out those impulses or the processed impulses towards the muscle and the gland, so that we will be able to act accordingly. तो हमें already पता है कि बहुत सारे जो भी stimulus हमारे आसपास हैं, तो stimulus continuously होते रहेंगे and accordingly हमको भी response करते रहेंगे, right? हम भी response करते रहेंगे. Okay, so the stimuli is very much important and who will determine कि हमारे आसपास क्या है. अभी देखो कि मैं कुछ बोल रही हूँ, आप सुन रहे हो, तो your ear is receiving this, yes. तो after it is received by your ear, the ear से जो nerves, auditory nerves जा रहे हैं towards your brain, it is going. Yes, whatever I'm telling to you, it is going towards your brain. आपके brain ये process कर रहे हैं और process करने के बाद आपको बोल रहे हैं कि हाँ अभी त्रिशिका मैम ये बोल रहे हैं, अभी त्रिशिका मैम central nervous system के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, आप सुनो, right? And then only you will again the message will come through the different nerves, the motor nerves towards your ear, and you will be able to hear it, and it happens within a fraction of a second, and that this is the beauty of our body, right? Yes. Chalo. So this nervous system basically helps to coordinate the different functions within our body. Let us now see what are the main components of the nervous system. First of all, the 5 sense organs are the main components of the nervous system, so that it will be able to receive the different stimuli. Yeah. So what are the 5 sense organs? Eye, so that we can see. Tongue, so that we can taste. Nose, so that we can smell. ear so that we can hear, and the skin so that we can feel everything, right? The touch sensation, the hotness, coldness, temperature, humidity, we can feel a lot of different type of thing. So these are the very five main sense organs which will act as a receptor, and from the sense organ the nerve impulses will go towards the brain through the different sensory nerves. You already know that the sensory nerves will carry the nerve impulses from the sense organ towards the spinal cord and brain, and in turn the motor neurons or the motor nerves will bring back the effectory or the effect towards our muscle and gland, so that we will be able to act accordingly. Okay, we will give our responses. Okay, yes, hi Anushka, how are you? चलो, so next is the nerve. तो nerve क्या है? It is nothing but a bundle of neuron, right? We have already seen in the previous session कि nerve क्या है? Bundle when the different axons of the different neurons are together and it is totally bound by a sheath, we will call the whole thing as a nerve. And nerve is present all over our body so that the nerve impulses can be received by the different parts of the body and it will be going towards the brain. See, next is the spinal cord and the brain, the main two organs of the central nervous system. You can see the brain which is present over here just inside the skull. Okay, so the skull is known as the cranium, और cranium को हम basically brain box भी कहते हैं. तो inside the brain box or inside the cranium we have the brain, the very important organ of our body. अगर brain नहीं होगा तो we will not be able to understand anything, we will not be able to do anything, right? After the brain there is the cell like structure. This is known as the spinal cord. Okay, so this spinal cord is guarded by the vertebral column. So think that this is the vertebral column and this stylus or pen is the spinal cord. So the spinal cord remains like this inside the vertebral column. ठीक है, तो vertebral column हमारा जो है the bones, the vertebrae which are making up the whole vertebral column, it is basically protecting our spinal cord, and the cranium, that is the brain box or skull, is basically protecting the brain. Got it up to this much? Yes, chalo. One of the most complex organ system is our nervous system. तो हम ये nervous system को दो तरीके में divide करेंगे according to the placement, or we can say the location and function they are basically performing. That is the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system क्या है? Basically it is making up the brain and the spinal cord. The brain and spinal cord will come under the central nervous system. Or peripheral nervous system basically starts from spinal cord and go to all the parts of the body. ठीक है, तो these are the two main systems. तो हम आज mainly focus करेंगे ये central nervous system के ऊपर. We will mainly study about the brain and the spinal cord in today's session. Tomorrow's session we will discuss about the peripheral nervous system. Next session में हम peripheral nervous system के बारे में देखेंगे. ठीक है? Yes, so we already have said कि central nervous system is consisting of the brain and spinal cord, and all the other nerves which are going to all around our body will come under the peripheral nervous system. अभी ये peripheral nervous system को भी हम दोनों तरीके में divide कर सकते हैं. That is the somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. अभी somatic nervous system will basically composed of those that system which will like connect with the different skeletal muscles and help us to do the different voluntary activities. Yeah, and the autonomic nervous system will come under the involuntary activities, जैसे continuously हमारे peristalsis movement हो रहा है, digestion हो रहा है, heart beat हो रहा है, हमारा ब्लड प्रेशर मेंटेन हो रहा है. सो ऑल दिस विल बी कंट्रोल्ड बाय द ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम, द ब्रीदिंग प्रोसेस एंड ऑल. सो वी डू नॉट हैव टू थिंक ऑफ इट एंड वी डू नॉट हैव टू कंट्रोल इट, राइट. सो दिस विल ऑल कम इनटू द ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम, जो ऑटोमेटिकली हो रहा है हमारे बॉडी के फंक्शंस. तो इसके बारे में ना हम बाद में देखेंगे इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. तो आज हम मेनली फोकस करेंगे सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम के ऊपर. तो अभी the central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord, we have already studied, and this is acting as the central processing unit. जैसे हमारा CPU होता है हमारे कंप्यूटर में, तो ये कंप्यूटर मशीन का जो CPU is basically controlling the total functioning of the laptop or like desktop, right. So similarly ये central processing unit हमारे body का होता है brain. ठीक है, तो हमारे body का CPU कौन है? brain है. Okay, चलो तो let us see what is present within our brain. So this is the very important organ of our body, the brain, which is the largest and central organ of the whole nervous system. तो brain का main function क्या क्या होगा? Definitely it will help you to think everything. जो आप सोच रहे हो continuously कि काम करूंगी या नहीं करूंगी, पढ़ाई करूंगी या होमवर्क करूंगी, या फिर आज छोड़ दो, आज तो खेलते हैं, आज किसी के साथ मिलने जाते हैं, तो this thinking process will totally controlled by the brain. Then the memory, whatever you were studying, so you have to keep it in mind, right? You have to remember it. So this memory you are remembering due to the presence of the brain inside you. Secondly, third, you have the different emotions. Just sometimes you feel like stressed, you are feeling like fear, angry with something, or very happy with something, or excited. So ये जितना भी हमारा emotions है, these are all controlled by the brain. Next, the touch and the motor skill, whatever you want to do, you will do that. The touch skill, the touch or the sensations, vision, you can see, breathing, temperature, hunger, you are feeling hungry, and all the other different processes which are present within your body is totally maintained or controlled by our brain. तो हमारे brain कहाँ रहता है? Head region में. And remember, the muscle or the sheath which is basically covering the brain is known as the meninges. Okay, it is the covering of the brain. And if we think about the bone which is totally covering the brain, it is the cranium, और इसको हम brain box भी कहते हैं. Okay, so this cranium is basically giving the protection to your brain from any sort of external injury. Got it? Yes. Okay, now this is enclosed within the skull, or we can say the cranium, and this is divided into many lobes. I will show you the lobes: the frontal lobe, lateral lobe, dorsal lobe, the occipital lobe. These are the four main lobes. Along with this, limbic lobe is also there. It is the fifth one. For protection, it is made up of the different lobes. तो अभी हम देख लेते हैं कि main three major part हमारे brain का क्या क्या है. First is the forebrain. You can see this is the forebrain. Midbrain बहुत छोटा एक portion है, the midbrain, and the hindbrain basically, which is having the cerebellum and medulla oblongata. Okay, so one by one, let us see what are basically present in the forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. So forebrain, you can see it is the whole cerebrum part. That is the largest part of the brain is the forebrain. So cerebrum रहता है, hypothalamus and thalamus. These are the three main things which are present in the forebrain. Next is a very small portion, that is tegmentum, and the tectum is present within the midbrain. Midbrain बहुत छोटा एक central portion होता है ये brainstem का. This is the brainstem, और brainstem का छोटा सा एक central portion रहता है, that is the midbrain. And hindbrain is very much important, which consists of the cerebellum, medulla and pons. So cerebellum, medulla and pons I will show you with the help of a 3D view. ठीक है ना? चलो. So this is the whole brain you can see, okay, the brain and the brain stem. So just see one by one all of them. This is the uppermost part of the brain. We can see the cerebrum. Okay, if you see sideways, you can see the cerebrum. This one is the midbrain. Okay, you can see the midbrain. This one is the optic chiasm, okay, from where these are the two optic nerves which are arising. This is the pons, okay, the pons and medulla will come under the hindbrain. This one is the pons. Next, this is the medulla oblongata. This is the last portion of the hindbrain. After this, the spinal cord will start. And this is the very small gland, and this is the master gland. As you already know, this is nothing but the pituitary gland. Okay, so this pituitary gland is the very small gland, but it is the master gland. You will study about the structure and function of this pituitary gland in the hormonal chapter or endocrine system. Basically, you will come to know about it. Okay, so it is just attached with the hindbrain. Fine now. Yes, you can see these are the two main parts, the right and the left lobe of the cerebrum, and this is joined by the muscle-like structure which is known as the corpus callosum. Okay, so this is all about the whole total brain. Fine. Let us now go back to the slides. So these are the main three portion which we will study and we basically have in our syllabus. हमारे cerebrum, cerebellum और medulla oblongata के बारे में हमारे main डेप्थ में हमारे सिलेबस में है. इसके अलावा जितना भी पोर्शंस है those are not that much important and that is why it has not been included inside our syllabus. So mainly we will focus on the cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. I'm not telling you that this is not important. Definitely all the parts of our body are very important, but हमारे basic function मेनली पता होने के लिए ये सेरिब्रम, सेरिबेलम एंड मेडुला ऑब्लांगाटा ही काफी है. ठीक है. Yes, beta, you were asking what is the gland used for? Yes, pituitary gland is known as the master gland. Basically, it helps to regulate the other different endocrine glands. जैसे thyroid stimulating hormone वो secrete करते हैं so that it will go and stimulate the thyroid gland to produce the thyroxine hormone. ऐसे ही बहुत सारे जितना भी हमारा एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स है हमारे बॉडी के अंदर, तो सारी की सारी एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स को वो स्टिम्युलेट करेंगे सो फॉर देयर ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट एज वेल एज देयर सिक्रीशन, देयर हार्मोनल सिक्रीशन. गॉट इट ना? यस. तो डिटेल में हम वो एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम वाला चैप्टर में देखेंगे. Chalo. So you can see over here the different parts of the cerebrum. So the whole this thing is the cerebrum. We can see the whole this part is nothing but this pink colored part is nothing but the cerebrum. So if we just divide it, then we can see this lobe is the occipital lobe. Above it is the parietal lobe. This one just over here is the limbic lobe and this one is the frontal lobe which is present in the front. So the cerebrum can be divided into frontal lobe, limbic lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe. Okay, so these are, and temporal lobe is also there. So I will show you the temporal lobe with the 3D view. Okay. So these are the main four lobes of the cerebrum. Apart from this, you can see, let me just mark it with another different pen. So this is with blue, I am just marking is the cerebellum. This is the hindbrain. It comes under the hindbrain and this is the cerebellum. And let me again change my color and this is the medulla oblongata. Okay, it is starting from here. The brain stem, it is the total brain stem. Over here we will get the pons and the medulla oblongata. Got it? So these are the three main parts of the brain about which we will study today. ठीक है ना? Chalo. So let us first see what is the cerebrum. So cerebrum is the largest structure. Mainly two-thirds of the brain, the whole brain will come under the cerebrum. So इसका मेन फंक्शन है टू कंट्रोल द वॉलंटरी एक्टिविटीज. वॉलंटरी एक्टिविटीज मतलब आप जो सोच समझ के कर रहे हो, मतलब आपके विल में जो भी काम कर रहे हैं. इफ यू वांट टू just wave your hand, you are waving your hand. If you want to walk, you will walk. If you want to run, you will run. And also this cerebrum is the seat for the intelligence. Whatever intelligence you have, it will be due to the presence of the cerebrum. Whatever thinking power, willpower, consciousness, whatever you have, these will come under remembering, memory. This will all come under the cerebrum. The cerebrum is very much important and useful for your studying. Yeah? Yes? Do you agree with me? Now, let us see the 3D view of the cerebrum. So, this is the whole brain. Can you see? This one is the whole brain. Let me keep it like this. Okay. So, this you can see that there is the left part and the right part, and in between there is a groove. Yeah. And there are many convolutions over here and there in the brain, and basically they are known as the sulci and the gyri. Okay. The different grooves and the convolution, and you can see the different blood capillaries are also going to supply the oxygen and nutrients to the brain so that the brain will also be healthy. Now let us see the different parts of the brain. Okay, so we are basically looking into the total cerebrum क्योंकि cerebrum ही सबसे largest part है brain का. If you think this is the cerebral cortex, okay, so this cerebral cortex में if you think about this portion जो मैं point कर रही हूँ, this is the frontal portion. Just after that, this portion will come under the temporal lobe. Okay, the temporal portion. Behind it is the occipital portion, and this portion just in between the occipital and the frontal, we will get the parietal portion. Okay, so this parietal, occipital, temporal and frontal, these are the four lobes of the cerebrum. Clear hai? Now let us move on to the next part. This is the brain stem. You can see that this is the brain stem attached with the pons, medulla oblongata, and finally it will elongate to form the spinal cord. Third, we can see this is just nothing but the midbrain. A very little portion of the midbrain is present in between the cerebrum and the cerebellum. Forebrain and the hindbrain, we will find the midbrain. Next is the pons. This fourth one or this one is known as the pons basically, and just beneath the pons the medulla oblongata will be there, and this is the very small sized pituitary gland. So I have already shown you the pituitary gland. So this is the pituitary gland, you can see, which is the master gland which help to maintain the different functions of the endocrine system. Clear hand up to this much? Yes, this is all about the different parts of the brain. Chalo, let's now again go back to our slides. So we have already got an idea what is the cerebrum और cerebrum का क्या क्या parts brain में रहता है. Let us now move on to the cerebellum. So cerebellum is the lowest part. We can see this one is the cerebellum. Okay, so cerebellum consists of deeply convoluted hemispheres. You can see over here. इनका वेट पूरा ब्रेन में अगर आप सेरिबेलम का वेट अगर देखोगे तो ये 10% होगा, पर 80% ऑफ द न्यूरॉन इज प्रेजेंट ओवर हियर. तो सबसे ज्यादा न्यूरॉन रहता है ये सेरिबेलम में, एंड वन ऑफ इट्स मेन फंक्शन इज टू कोऑर्डिनेट आवर बॉडी मूवमेंट, बॉडी पोस्चर. हम कैसे पोस्चर में बैठेंगे, उठेंगे, चलेंगे, तो ये टोटल पोस्चर मेंटेन करता है सेरिबेलम, एज वेल एज इट हेल्प्स टू मेंटेन अ प्रॉपर बैलेंस ऑफ द बॉडी. क्या होता है इन केस ऑफ द अल्कोहलिक पीपल, व्हेन दे जस्ट after having the alcohol directly hit to the cerebellum, and that is why there is not a proper coordinating movement in the alcoholic person. That is why they cannot walk properly. Okay, so this have a direct effect on the cerebellum. Fine. Now coming to the medulla oblongata is the tip. You can see this is the small portion of the hindbrain. This is the pons, and this one is the medulla oblongata. Just the last portion of the brain. उसके बाद ही start हो रहा है ये spinal cord. ठीक है. So this is the cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, the three main portion. तो medulla oblongata का main function क्या है? The nerve impulses basically arise from it. It helps to regulate the different arterioles. So उसका blood flow कितना होगा, dilated होगा या constricted होगा, and also the different automatic or involuntary actions जैसे heartbeat, breathing rate, then dilation or constriction of the blood vessels, then peristaltic movement, digestion. This all involuntary movement or involuntary actions will be regulated by the medulla oblongata. Up to this much clear? Yes? Now let us see one video about the brain. Let us just recall whatever we have studied till now.
The human brain is what makes us so unique amongst mammals and is a major reason for our success as a species. We have the largest brain of all vertebrates relative to our body size, and to keep it ticking over, we need to eat proportionally more calories each day. Your brain is an incredible organ that is responsible for every single function and process that occurs in your body. In fact, it's the reason why you're able to watch, listen, and most importantly, understand and learn from this video. In this video, we're going to look at the major parts of the brain. The cerebrum is the largest component of your brain, making up almost 80% of its mass. It's made up of about 86 billion nerve cells, known as neurons, folded into a structure known as the cerebral cortex. The folds with all the neurons are known as grey matter, which are connected together by billions of nerve fibres called axons and dendrites, which make up the white matter. The more white matter present, the more communication occurs between the grey matter. As well as being relatively bigger than the brains of other animals, human brains also have many more neurons per unit volume, thanks to the folded structure. Other intelligent animals like apes and dolphins also have folds in their cortex, whereas less intelligent animals like mice have smooth brains. The cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right. These two hemispheres communicate with one another via a bridge-like structure known as a corpus callosum. The left hemisphere controls all of the muscles on the right side of your body, and the right hemisphere controls the left side. Everyone uses both halves of your brain all the time. Each hemisphere is further divided into 4 lobes, each responsible for specific functions. As well as having many more neurons per volume, humans also have the largest frontal lobes. The frontal lobe regulates our personality, self-control, logic, and emotions. Lots of things that make us typically human. The parietal lobe is responsible for bodily sensations, visual and spatial perceptions. The occipital lobe regulates vision. The temporal lobe is responsible for hearing, speech, and our ability to learn languages. Right underneath the cerebrum, there is the cerebellum, a much smaller structure that is responsible for balance, posture, and movement. There are even smaller structures, though don't let their size fool you. The hypothalamus, which is no larger than an average-sized coin in diameter, regulates many important processes such as body temperature, sleep cycles, and thirst and hunger. The pituitary gland, which is even smaller, is responsible for almost all hormone releases into our bloodstreams. And on top of that, it's also in charge of many other organs that also release hormones. At the base is the brainstem, which is made up of 2 parts, the pons and the medulla oblongata. The most important function of the pons is to regulate breathing, and the medulla oblongata plays a role in regulating cardiac functions, such as blood pressure and heart rates. The brain is connected to the rest of your body through the spinal cord, where 31 pairs of spinal nerves serve to help communication with the rest of the body. So there we have an introduction to our incredible brain. It receives input from our sensory organs and sends outputs to our muscles, organs, and rest of the body. Here are 3 questions to test to see what you can remember. Pause the video and give them a go. Did you get them right?
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up.
Okay, so up to this much, I hope that you have already understood what is the brain, the main portion of the brain, and you have already recalled with the help of the video, right? Yes, so up to this much, any question you can ask me in the chat box. Now let us move on to the spinal cord. We have already done with the brain, the different parts of the brain. Now spinal cord will just start just after the brain. Okay, so when the medulla oblongata is ending, that is the last portion of the brain, after that the spinal cord will start. And if this is the spinal cord, then it is totally guarded by the total vertebrae, okay, the vertebral column. So one by one the small bones of the vertebrae will join with each other and it will form the whole structure through which the spinal cord will go. Right now the spinal cord is again enclosed within the spine. It is like the cylindrical bundle of nerve fibers connecting all the different nerves towards the different parts of the body. And once it is just connecting the different nerves towards the body, as well as it is also connecting with the brain. So whatever the nervous impulses which we will receive from outside, we will receive it and it will go through the sensory nerves from the towards the spinal cord and the brain, and finally after the processing within the brain, it will again come back through the motor neurons or the motor nerves towards the different muscles and the glands, right? So this is how the whole nervous system works within our body. Clear hai? So this spinal cord is also it is also covered by the membrane that is known as the meninges. So it begins with the continuation of the medulla. This is the medulla portion of the brain and it starts over here and it is totally enclosed within the membrane which is known as the meninges, and this bony structure which is known as the vertebral column. So this vertebral column basically help to protect the whole spinal cord from any sort of external injury. Got it? Now let's move on to the last portion, that is the function of the spinal cord. First of all, it helps to conduct the different sensory information from the peripheral nervous system, that means from all over our body towards the brain. And also the motor information, मतलब उसके प्रोसेसिंग होने के बाद जो इंफॉर्मेशन जाता है from the brain to all the different parts of the body. Got it? The third thing is it acts as a center of reflex action. So what happened in case of the reflex action, like if you just touch accidentally any hot object, you just pull your hand towards you, right? So it is the immediate action, and this immediate action will not help you to just think it with your brain and then you will just remove your hand. That much amount of time is not available during the accidents, right? So what will happen is in this reflex action, the impulses will go towards the nervous system again, towards the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord only it will again bring back to your muscle and the gland. And that much amount of time is also not, you will not get, and this type of action is known as the reflex action. So reflex action definitely we will study in detail in the next session, along with the reflex arc, how it is happening, along with the different types of reflex action. Okay, so this is all about the nervous system, the central nervous system to be very specific, the brain and the spinal cord. Let us now discuss some of the question answers quickly. Which part of the brain helps in regulating our heartbeat? Tell me the answer quickly, Anushka. Yes, thank you very much, Anushka, for giving a lot of information about the brain and the central nervous system. as well as the peripheral nervous system, which I can see. Quickly tell me, beta, which part of the brain helps in regulating our heartbeat? So, heartbeat, what do you think? This is the voluntary action or an involuntary action? Involuntary, definitely. Yeah. So, which part of our brain will help to maintain the involuntary actions? Yes, the medulla oblongata. Yes. Coming to the second question, you need to solve a math problem, or you have to figure out a video game, or you want to draw a picture. Which part of the brain will help you to memorize all these things or think all those things and do the act accordingly? Yes, of course, the cerebrum. Okay, the cerebrum is the seat for your intelligence, your memory, remembering, thinking, and all. And this will help you to do all the different voluntary activities. Okay, so you want to do that, and that is why you will do that. Okay, so this cerebrum will help you. Let me give you a very fun fact, that is the weight of the brain is average to an approximate value. It is like 1375 grams in case of the male, and 1275 gram in case of the female. So 100 gram less. Yes, but it really doesn't mean ki men's are smarter. That is why, and women are not that much smarter. It really doesn't mean that. Just this is the weight of the brain in case of the male and female. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Thank you very much for being with us. Let us see what we have already studied. We studied about the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, which will come under the total nervous system of our body. Central nervous system may we have studied about the brain and the spinal cord. Brain ka three parts we have studied: the forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. फोरब्रेन में cerebrum, hypothalamus and thalamus आते हैं, और hindbrain में cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata आते हैं. We have studied about their structure and function. Then we studied about the peripheral nervous system and only the names of the somatic and the autonomic nervous system. The detail we will see in the next session. Okay, so thank you very much for being with us till the end of the session. Thank you, Anushka. Today also the student of the session is Anushka. Thank you, Anushka, for giving most of the information over here. Clap for her. And thank you everyone who is listening to this session. And do not forget to like, comment, and share also. And definitely please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you will not miss any of the sessions. You will get the update or notification before 30 minutes, and you can join the session on time. We will discuss a lot about the different topic. So that's all for today. We will again meet in the next session. So bye bye, take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. Bye bye.